isolate her from her family. I reach for my phone, placing on the table. You mean this conversation I've been recording? The color drains from his face, then floods back in an angry rush. He starts shouting about recording laws, but I can see the panic in his eyes. He stands up so quickly his chair scrapes against the floor. You've just made a huge mistake. Tiffany will never believe you over me. He leans down, and once she gets her share of the business, you'll be begging me for a job. As he storms out, I'm already sending the recording to my lawyer. The next morning, my phone lights up with a text from Tiffany. How dare you threaten my brother? Mark was right about you all along. You're just jealous because he understands business better than you. I don't respond. Just forward them to my lawyer and wait for what comes next. The day after, Tiffany showed up at my house unannounced. She still had her key and just walked in while I was working from home. The moment I saw her face, I knew this wasn't going to be a discussion. She was beyond angry about me recording her brother. But what struck me most was how she seemed like a completely different person from the woman I'd fallen in love with. I tried showing her the recording of Mark admitting his plans for a cushy job in my company, but she refused to even listen. It was like watching someone in denial about a basic truth. The more evidence I presented, the harder she fought against it. Her face went through this range of emotions when I played it. Anyway, when I brought up the security footage of Mark going through my office and the business documents she'd been sending him, she turned it around on me. Suddenly, I was the bad guy for having security cameras in my own office. The fact that they were stealing private business documents didn't matter to her. In her mind, being engaged meant everything I owned was already partly hers. The most heartbreaking moment was when we talked about how she'd changed since Mark came back into her life. Before him, she'd never shown any interest in running grocery stores or understanding business operations. But now, she was claiming she deserved 75% of everything because of her emotional contribution. It wasn't even her talking anymore. Every sentence started with Mark says she'd lost her own voice completely. She started showing me texts about divorce lawyers before we were even married. She'd been planning our divorce while we were still planning our wedding. The woman I'd trusted enough to propose to was actively plotting how to take my business apart. She didn't even seem to understand why this was wrong. In her mind, it was just being smart about her future. She even said, I need to ensure I'm secure, as if I didn't give her security from the start. When she finally left, she wasn't the same person who'd walked in. The Tiffany I knew and loved was gone, replaced by someone who saw our relationship as nothing more than a business opportunity. She'd chosen to believe Mark's twisted view of marriage and business over everything we built together. That night, as her family bombarded me with messages about being controlling and having hidden cameras, I realized how much Tiffany had changed. She had gone from someone who valued trust and independence to someone who thought it was okay to share confidential business information with my competitors just because we were engaged. The next morning, when I found out about her meeting with my competitor, I knew it was truly over. It wasn't just about ending an engagement anymore. It was about accepting that the person I loved had been completely transformed by her brother's toxic influence. The trust was gone, and without trust, there was nothing left to save. That night, I made my decision. Although it hurt deeply, I knew there was no way for me to stick to this relationship. I thought that I needed someone who trusts me and doesn't get manipulated easily. If she's now listening to her brother and coming against me, who else would she be listening to when we get married? So, I sent her a formal email, copied my lawyer, explaining that the wedding was canceled due to her attempts to modify the prenup without consent and her trying to share confidential business information with competitors. I also included the recording of Mark admitting to their plan. 20 minutes after I sent it, my phone started exploding with notifications. Tiffany called me crying, switching between begging me to reconsider and threatening to expose me as a controlling abuser. She kept saying stuff like, Mark says you can't just cancel a wedding without agreeing on a settlement first, and you owe me compensation for emotional damage. I just kept quiet and recorded everything. My lawyer said that's the best thing to do when someone's showing their true colors. After some hours, Tiffany texted me again when she decided to change tactics. Apparently, she vented about it to her brother. Fine, but I'm keeping the ring and I'll stay in the apartment until I'm ready to leave. You owe me that much. Like, I owed her something after what she tried to pull. Then my mom called me. She was practically in tears. How could you do this to Tiffany? She loves you. She just wanted to feel secure. I tried explaining about the prenup changes and the business documents, but Tiffany had already worked her magic. According to her version, I was this controlling guy who wouldn't share with my future wife.